And then I asked myself, why am I always so considerate, even in situations when nobody is considering me? It is not your responsibility, nor it is possible to fix everybody. I'm going to say that one more time. It is not your responsibility, nor is it possible to fix everybody. A while ago, I had a moment where I was sad, I was in my feelings, and I need a little bit of comfort. And I reached out to two of my friends, as one would, expecting maybe some compassion, support, maybe some advice, only for one of them to say how I was overreacting and it was my fault I was experiencing what I was experiencing, and the other one to say, wow, that's crazy. And it was the biggest slap in the face because I would have stretched myself thin. I would have left everything I was doing, started researching, trying to help, trying to make them feel better, trying to do everything just so they don't feel like they do. And I remember the rejection, betrayal, sadness, and hurt I felt in that moment. But in hindsight, I am so grateful it happened because I realized, well, many things, but it helped me become the person I am today. I realized something that I knew for a very long time, but I didn't want to admit to myself, and that was building up for a while. And that was the fact that my entire personality was being there for others and being liked. How can I expect for others to be there for me when even I wasn't there for myself? I took pride in being the easygoing one, the kind, so nice, the always quiet friend, so agreeable, never says no to anything, is fine with everything, no opinions, no feelings, at least not out loud, brushing off the malicious jokes, never standing up for me when somebody would offend me, because it's not a big deal, right? I don't want to start a fight. I'll just be the bigger person. When in reality, I was afraid to stand up for myself just to not hurt the other person's feelings when they were the ones who purposely hurt mine first. I was stretching myself thin for everybody else, convincing everyone, including myself, that I didn't expect anything in return, when in reality, deep down, I hoped that others would show up for me the way I showed up for them. And if all of this sounds familiar, you're probably somebody who's very hypersensitive to other people's feelings, who always puts other people's feelings before their own, who over apologizes, feels guilty and responsible for everybody else's emotions and problems, who never stands up for themselves, is always agreeable, never says no just to not inconvenience others, obsessing over others' opinions and making decisions based on their judgmental perception. And it's not that you want to be like this, but somewhere along the line you were taught that expressing your feelings meant you were too much and it meant conflict. But coming to a realization that no matter how much I diminished my value and shrinked myself, no matter what I did, how available I was for everybody, being everyone's emotional trash bag, abandoning my own needs for the sake of everybody else's, putting everyone before me, still didn't mean that they would stay. Even if they did, it wasn't because they were my friend or because they loved me. It was because they liked the way I validated them. They liked the way I helped them feel superior next to me. They weren't walking all over me. I was, because I was allowing it. And from that moment on, I decided to become somebody who is not there only to fix everybody's problems, who says no without feeling guilty or the need to over-explain, without the fear of losing people. If they want to leave, they can leave. I will be there as your friend, but only if the relationship is reciprocated. This is a topic I'm very passionate about, so I want to teach you everything I know so you can stop shrinking to fit, stop asking for permission, learn how to be kind without abandoning yourself, start drawing a line between being there for someone and overgiving, and stop feeding the people who are not even giving you crumbs. So hello, my name is Stephanie and I'm here to teach you everything you need to know in order to become authentically the best version of yourself. And in today's video, I will teach you how to stop being a people pleaser. This video will be separated in two parts. The first part is mindset, the second part is practical tips, and homework that will help you exit your people-pleasing era for good. People-pleasing is not about being kind and nice. Those are beautiful qualities to have. It's about the fear of rejection and the fear of being seen as too much. Stretching yourself thin until you break is not kindness. It's an attempt to hide your feelings because at some point you were thought that they were too much. And now let's get into it. It is not your responsibility, nor it is possible to fix everybody. I'm going to say that one more time. It is not your responsibility, nor is it possible to fix everybody. You can help, be a friend, but in the end of the day, everybody is responsible for their own selves. There is only so much you can do, but there comes a point where the other person needs to take accountability and solve their own problems. You've been doing that your entire life. Let them. You cannot heal them. You cannot solve their problem for them. You cannot change their mind. Stop trying to take everybody else's burden upon yourself. That's theirs to carry, not yours. And trust me, they do not want your help, because if they did, they would have listened the second time you told them what to do. They want you to validate them. They like the way you make them feel better about themselves, while at the same time making you feel like you're less than them. And let's be clear, I'm not talking about not being their friend. I'm not talking about not being there for people, but I'm talking about relationships where the efforts are not reciprocated, where you are giving everything while receiving nothing in return. And it's not to say that relationships should be transactional, but when you're a friend to someone, they should be your friend as well. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask people how they are, but it is not your responsibility to be hypersensitive on everybody else's feelings and keep checking on everybody else all the time, especially if they don't even bother to text you to ask you how you are. And if they withdraw the attention and friendship just because you started refusing to validate them on the expense of your own well-being, good. They just made space for somebody who reciprocates your efforts. Validate yourself. Other people's opinions of you are just that. An opinion. Stop considering everybody else's opinions before making a decision. It is your life. In the end of the day, you are the one who's going to be living with that decision. Let them think what they want to think. Do you really think it's fair to live your entire life based on what somebody else thinks about you? Their 2-minute thought is going to decide the trajectory of your entire life. Trust me, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to please everybody with your decisions, there always will be somebody who doesn't like you. No matter how nice, how good you are to everyone, you'll always be the villain in somebody else's story, and that is okay. That is not your problem. It is not your responsibility to control other people's perception of you. Their perception of you has nothing to do with you. So stop trying to prove everyone you're nice. What matters is that you know that you're a good person, and the people who appreciate it and the ones who are for you will see that without you having to prove it. Stop feeding those who are not even giving you crumbs. Stop going above and beyond, stepping all over yourself for people who are there with you only out of convenience. And listen, on this channel, we are all about taking accountability and taking our lives back into our own hands, and I will give you some tough love on this. They're just a bad person, and that's on them. But you are the one who's allowing them to step all over you. You're the one who doesn't set boundaries. You are the one who doesn't stand up for yourself. People treat you the way you treat yourself. When you don't see yourself as worthy to show yourself respect, to stand up for yourself, to express your opinions, do what's best for you. You cannot expect people to meet you there. You're going to keep attracting people that reinforce the idea that you're only valuable when you're of service to others. Stop changing your plans to accommodate. Stop bending your morals to fit in. Stop allowing other people to make decisions for you. Stop holding on to people who would let you go the second you stop allowing them to dim your light. And the second you try to be your authentic self, they shut you down. By staying in relationships and environments where you can't be yourself, you're blocking all of the things that are meant for your authentic self and all of the people who are supposed to be in your life. You are delaying your blessings because you're too scared you're going to trigger someone by not living up to the image of you they created in their head and only serves them. You, my dear, need to work on your own self-worth. You do not owe anybody to be something they need you to, but you owe it to yourself, your past, and your future to stop treating yourself so poorly, be relentlessly yourself, and break out of the shell, which ties to my next point. Pay attention to the people you spend time with. As much as we need to take accountability and everything ever starts from ourselves, that includes removing yourself from people and situations that don't allow you to grow and that keep feeding this old people-pleasing version of you. If you feel the need to change yourself just so they like you, or when you try to be your authentic self, they shun you, they make fun of you, then my dear, those are not your people. Relationships in which we need to pretend are toxic. Spend your time with people who support you, who accept you just the way you are, while at the same time encouraging you and supporting you to be better. And if you don't like how the people around you make you feel, yes, you need to work on your perception of yourself, but in the same time, don't change yourself to serve their perception of you. Change the people around you. And I know those types of people are hard to find, but trust me, it's better to be by yourself than with people who expect you to be their friend, but they are not your friend. Doing too much or changing yourself isn't going to make people like you more. People can only meet you from their level of emotional maturity and their level of their own self-love. And no matter what you do, what you become for them, how much you stretch yourself thin, you cannot make them love you, especially if they don't like themselves. By not being your authentic self, you're not only unfair to yourself, you're unfair to the people who are supposed to be in your life, and you miss out on so many friendships, so many opportunities because you're too busy serving others. So stop trying to change yourself and cater to people who are not even supposed to be in your life. And open yourself up to the possibility of attracting people who match your authentic self's energy. The next thing we have to start doing as people pleasers is setting boundaries, but somehow we all struggle with it. The way I learned to start setting boundaries was by setting boundaries with myself first. I started saying no to myself. Stop allowing yourself to do things you don't want to do. Start deciding on what you are willing to allow in life. People treat you the way you treat yourself. That's why I always talk about taking accountability and always starting from ourselves. You cannot change your reality without changing the way you talk to yourself, the way you treat yourself, and without setting boundaries with yourself first. Only then will you be able to assert those boundaries with others without feeling guilty. And no, that doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you normal. You owe yourself to respect yourself enough to honor your needs because you cannot pour from an empty cup. No is a complete sentence. And if someone has a problem with that, that's on them. If they truly love you, they will understand. It is not up to you to tiptoe around everybody else and pay attention to every single word you say because somebody might understand something you said in a wrong way. As long as you're not intentionally hurting anyone and as long as you're a good person, you do not owe anybody niceness. If you putting yourself first doesn't sit right with someone, if someone expects you to fulfill their needs and be their doormat all the time, then they are disappointing themselves. The next thing is take control of your own happiness. I'm a firm believer that everybody is responsible for their own happiness. Happiness is not something we find, it's something we create. Start taking care of yourself. Only then can you give to others without burning yourself out. Your emotions are just as important as the next person, and you're being unfair to yourself by never putting yourself first. It's okay to disagree with someone. You have the right to your own opinion, just like everybody else. And it's nothing personal, it's just that. An opinion. The people who can't stand others to have different opinions from theirs are simply immature. A healthy, mature person will not start a fight just because you said what you think or you challenge their opinion or their behavior. Somebody who is worthy to be in your life and who truly loves you, when you express something that offended you or made you feel bad, they'll take accountability, apologize, and not do it again. They will not try to make you feel that it's your fault for their poor behavior. And no, they're not mad at you. Stop over apologizing to everybody for everything. Has anybody ever considered your feelings before doing something? No, they consider themselves first. That's what you should be doing too. The next thing is stop letting people walk all over you and getting away with being horrible people. Making mean jokes, sly comments, offending you, and then when you say something, they tell you you're too sensitive. Brushing it off as a joke is an attempt to indirectly make you feel small so you stay in a position where you can validate them. Stop allowing that. Now, let me tell you something. They see something in you. They see your potential and they are so afraid that you're going to see it too. So they will do anything they can to keep you where you are because misery loves company. But let's just not blame them. We are the ones allowing that. They have nothing to do with it, but you're the one allowing it. Not only you, every single people pleaser that's out there. It's up to you to stop it, and that is the best realization you can have. The fact that it is up to you to take your power back into your own hands and control the situation by standing up for yourself or simply removing yourself from those people and those situations and working on your self-worth and self-concept. Start growing into the potential you know you have and stop staying small for people who don't have the courage to grow into something better. And on the topic of taking your power back, you show people how they need to treat you. You show them what you're willing to allow. So if you're treating yourself with the bare minimum, that's how they're going to treat you. When you start respecting yourself, people will start respecting you too. Your emotions matter more than anybody else's. Check in with yourself before making any decision. You owe it to yourself to stand up for yourself because if you don't, nobody else will. And expressing your emotions in a constructive way is your right. It is the trait of a healthy individual. And if the other person doesn't have the emotional capacity to understand it and takes it as a personal attack, then that's on them. It has nothing to do with you. You did your part, you expressed your opinion and your feelings. The way they react to them says everything about them and nothing about you. And their reaction to you expressing your feelings tells you everything about where you need to place that person in your life. And now we came to the part of the video where I give you the actual practical steps and the homework you need to do. Because yes, it does start with changing your mind, but actively taking steps towards healing and changing ourselves is very important. The first and fundamental thing I want you to do is think about where people-pleasing tendencies come from. We are not born people pleasers, but somewhere along the way, someone who was meant to make us feel safe and validated taught us that being ourselves isn't safe, that expressing our emotions is bad, that makes us too much. It is something that usually stems from childhood, so I want you to sit down with yourself, open your journal, and work through where you think this comes from so you can work yourself up from there. The next thing I talk about all the time is you have to build a strong self-concept. As people pleasers, we tend to not have a sense of self. We kind of morph into what we think that other people want us to be, so other people's opinions, they become our own. Start building this relationship with yourself because only when we have a loving relationship with ourselves, we no longer look to other people to fill the voids we have in our self-esteem. The next thing I want you to do is do the scariest thing for every people pleaser, saying no and expressing your opinion. And yeah, I know I need to do this, but how do I do it, right? The reality is that you will have to actively force yourself sometimes. And as scary as it is, the more you do it, the more you will show yourself it is safe and it is completely okay to do it. And if it removes people from your life, it's only going to remove those who are not supposed to be there in the first place. Pay attention to your self-talk. Whenever you have these negative thoughts about yourself, write them down and reframe them. These are beliefs we've been taught by others about ourselves, and we have the power to reframe them and change them. They are not your inner voice, but you need to actively catch yourself and start reframing them into something positive. For example, I'm such a failure. Change that into I'm learning and growing. Imagine you're saying those things to somebody who you really love, your sister, your best friend. Would you talk to them like that? No. So why are you talking to yourself like that? Start focusing on accepting who you are and loving yourself while in the same time working towards the things that you don't like about yourself. Start taking care of yourself physically and mentally, because people who take good care of themselves are less dependent on the approval of others. And my favorite, use affirmations and journaling to reprogram your mind. This works like magic, and it is the single best tool that helped me reframe the way I think, changed my mindset, my self-concept, and the way I view myself. So I will be giving some of the affirmations and journal prompts that helped me here on the screen. Feel free to screenshot, and as your homework, I'm going to ask of you to choose at least one of these journal prompts and journal about it tonight before going to bed. And write these affirmations somewhere you can see them and look at them every single day and repeat them in your mind. And the second part of the homework is schedule an hour this week to do something by yourself that you wanted to do for a long time. For example, go to a coffee shop by yourself. And with that, we came to the end of this video. This was a video that I was very passionate about, so I really hope that what I said resonated with you guys, that it helps you see a different perspective. Let me know down below what you thought. Let me know if it helped you, because that is ultimately why I make these videos. Thank you so much for watching and sticking to the end, and I will be leaving you with a quote: "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.